Buongiorno ballerine, ballerini e amanti della danza e benvenuti in questo nuovo video. Oggi sono qui in compagnia di Olivia Book, una ballerina straordinaria. Lei frequenta il Ballet West Trainee e oggi ci racconterà la sua storia, che è a dir poco ispirazionale. Hi Olivia, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I'll start straight away with the first question, and it's a pleasure for me to have you here today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure as well. I'm so thankful to be on here.
Thank you. So, how was your passion for dance born, and so what was your training path? Com'è nata la tua passione per la danza e qual è stata la tua carriera?
Well, I've always loved dancing from a young age and moving to music. And I started taking dance classes when I was 3 years old. And then I trained in many different styles. And I was on a competitive dance team. And I mostly trained in hip hop and tap and jazz.
Really?
Those were my first styles, which is so funny. Cool. And then I think around the age of 12, I really started to get into ballet more and really appreciate its elegance and grace and how hard it is. And I started to focus on that more.
Yeah.
And then when I think, in 2018, I got accepted to go to the Royal Danish Ballet summer program.
Wow.
And after going there, it totally opened my mind to the whole ballet world, and I fell in love with it even more and thought I wanted to train more in it. And so after that, I did more pre-professional ballet training. And then after a year of that at my home school in Canada called Niagara Ballet, I then moved to Salt Lake City at the age of 16.
Wow.
And I've been now here for 4 years. I'm thankful to have been here and have such great training.
That's cool. So you started with jazz and hip hop. That's really interesting. So now it's 4 years that you are in America, and how is your typical day structure? Quindi adesso è 4 anni che sei in America e come si svolge una tua giornata tipo?
So a typical day, I start class at 10 a.m. and I usually will go to around 1:30 of class and some rehearsals of whatever the trainees are working on at the moment.
Okay.
And then I guess when the company's doing more rehearsals, some of us can be called to go to those rehearsals as well, and so we can stay later in the day. And I actually got the pleasure of doing that this week. So this week, for example, I had my regular class until 1:30, and then I had company rehearsal till 2:45, and then again 5:45 to 6:45. So it adds more to the day, but it's certainly so exciting and keeps me on my toes because there's always a different schedule.
Wow. And there is a big chance that you could enter the company with this program, or maybe you will go somewhere else.
I'm really hoping to stay here. I really love the company.
Yeah?
So that's the hope.
Yeah, but you will have to do an audition, or maybe it's like an internal decision. I mean, they will say, okay, so you train a lot with us and now you can go to the company. How does it work there?
Mm-hmm. More than the program I am in, the trainee program, it's under their second company. So it's more internal in that way because they see us more often. And there is a formal audition they have, but it's more for outside dancers.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be in that space, and then all the artistic teachers get to teach you, and
Nice. So maybe you'll go first in the second company and then to the main company, or it could be that you jump directly in the company.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay.
Yeah. It's usually their second company first.
Yeah, there are steps. Mm-hmm. And how is the repertoire there? You like it? It's more classical or neoclassical?
Yeah, they do a little bit of both. They always have a few very classical ballets in the season. Like this year, they're doing Sleeping Beauty.
Wow.
And then Onegin, if
Ooh,
you've heard of
that's
that.
nice. Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. And then they do some more contemporary works as well, and some Balanchine rep.
Wow,
And
Balanchine is
so-
my favorite.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're working on Concerto Barocco right now.
Wow.
And that's what I had rehearsals for last week, so that was
Amazing.
super exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, so nice. So now the next question, which is really important question for me. How important is the body in dance? And have you ever been pressured in this regard? If so, how did you deal with that? Questa domanda è una delle più importanti per me, ovvero quanto è importante il corpo nella danza, il nostro strumento, e soprattutto se hai mai subito delle pressioni, come hai reagito a queste pressioni.
This is a sort of tricky question for me because there's always like a kind of idea of a ballet body in dance
Yeah.
that we all kind of think of or see online
Yeah.
and everything. And I have never really been pressured from my teachers or peers or experiences, and I'm really grateful for that. It's more
Yeah.
so, I think, in myself. You like compare it to others and put pressure on yourself to become something that you think is expected of you.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
I most of the time for me, I just think of like the lines you want to make and working on like your legs and feet and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really grateful to be in a space where I haven't been pressured in that sense.
That's
And
really nice.
Yeah, and I think now people are more realizing that there's so many different types of bodies that can do ballet. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you are lucky because now you are in America and there is this open-minded vision. In Europe, it's a little bit less, okay? So we are not at that point yet. So in many companies, there is still this pressure and it's really big pressure. But have you born with like hyperextended legs or really nice feet? I don't know. What did you work the most?
Yeah, I think the most I've worked on is my legs. I don't really have hyperextended legs.
Yeah?
But I was born with like nice arches, I guess I would say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. From my mom, I noticed that. So there's that, and then yeah, I've had to work really hard on my turnout as well.
Okay.
Also from not having done ballet at a young age.
Yeah.
And having to like work on that. So mostly that, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I always say that you born with the body and then you have to manage, how to work it to become a ballerina, but that's not the most important thing. It's important, but we have the art and we have the soul.
Yeah.
It's much more in dance. So yeah, but of course the body it's our tool, so it's important that we have a nice body and we work it really well. That's good. And how you deal with the judgment?
I think it honestly depends on the day for me, because sometimes I would feel really confident in myself and I don't let it bother me.
Yeah.
Or some days it just really hits you and it like really discourages you. So I often try to just like look at the bigger picture and remember why I'm dancing and also who the judgment may be coming from.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if it is someone that I really hold near to my heart, it can be hard to hear those things. Or if it's just someone like a stranger you've never met. So it's hard for me sometimes, but I have a really great support system that's really helpful when I'm feeling those ways.
Wow.
Or feeling like that. Yeah.
That's important. We say do not take a criticism from the people that you wouldn't take advice from. So
yes,
it's
exactly
what you said, and of course if a criticism comes to you from a person that is really near, of course it's harder to accept it or to deal with it. Yeah, but it's nice that you have a good support. That's important, very important for a dancer.
Yeah.
Have you ever had bad moments? How did you react? Hai mai avuto dei momenti di difficoltà? Come hai reagito?
Well, I think for any dancer, one of the hardest moments for me is not getting chosen for a role that I really wanted, or not being in a piece that I was really looking forward to. Those are often hard because you really get in your head about it and think about what I need to work on, what I could have done. And over time, I've gotten a bit better, learning to just like move on and obviously continue to work hard, but not really attack myself or get really like thinking about it too much, because there's always so many things going on at a ballet company and so many other moving parts that you may not be aware of. And it's hard not to take it personally, but I think certainly with time I've grown better at that.
Of course. Yeah. And what helped you the most when you had those moments when you were really down and maybe you wanted to quit? I mean, sometimes it happens to everyone.
Yeah. It's hard because in those moments you have less confidence, and the best thing I find is also to keep a journal, because then I like to look back at old memories I have and old moments and how things worked out in the end, I guess you'd say, and like in the future, and how like there is more things coming for you, and it all feels so intense right in that moment, like, oh, I didn't get picked for this role that I was really looking forward to, but there will be more opportunities, and I just have to remember that there's only so much I can control. And so I always continue to just focus on myself and on my training. Yeah,
that's very nice. So big picture and working on what you can control. That's really nice. I mean, it's a big suggestion for everyone. Okay, so what role did you love most to play until now? Quale ruolo ti è piaciuto di più interpretare fino ad ora?
One of my favorite roles I've played is Cinderella.
Wow.
And that was at Niagara Ballet back in Canada before I came to Salt Lake City. But it was my first lead role I'd ever done. And it was just so exciting to get to work on a ballet for storytelling wise, and like dancing for most of the ballet and like training for that. And it was like the whole experience was just so exciting. And, you know, getting to play a princess obviously is so fun.
Yeah, of course. And I think building up the character, because sometimes when you're doing corps de ballet, it's different. You work on the steps, you work on the ensemble, and so on. But when you're doing a solist role, then you build really the character. It's more like theatrical skills that are adding on your performance. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and it was something I had never really worked on before.
Yeah.
And it was just so great to learn about that and go through the whole experience. Yeah, I feel like it really pushed me in that direction. Yeah, and got me more motivated in ballet, I guess. Like, this is something that I love to do. This is something I could do, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that sparkle, you know, that sometimes we need to keep going, to go on with all the pain, all the sacrifices and everything. Exactly. Sometimes we get the biscuits, you know, the carrots. It's like, yeah. And do you have any funny anecdote to tell us? Hai qualche aneddoto divertente da raccontarci?
One of my favorite anecdotes or little stories I have is from the very first time I went to Ballet West at their summer intensive. I had never met any of the teachers there. I had been there for about a week. And one time in between classes, I was just getting all ready, and one of the teachers came up to me and he was like, I didn't notice you only had one arm. And he like just noticed in that one moment. And
my God.
And he said he had been watching me like all in class. And he hadn't noticed until that moment. And I was like, I didn't know who the teacher was. Also, new place. It was such a funny experience.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And now he's one of my favorite teachers who I have all the time. And so
that's cool. You gave me goosebumps, because this means that sometimes the obstacle that we think we have are not seen by others, and if you don't focus on your weaknesses, if we can call them like this, or whatever it is, and you focus on the things that empowers you, then the others will see what you want them to see. No? It's crazy.
That was so beautifully said. Yeah.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Wow. And so on this note, I ask you, what message would you like to send to the young dancers? Quale messaggio vuoi lanciare ai giovani ballerini, vista la tua esperienza e la tua vita così, insomma, straordinaria?
One of the most important advice I've gotten, and I love to share to dancers, is just to honestly remember why you started doing ballet and why you love it, and to keep focusing on that, because some days, even there's always going to be ups and downs in your life, and there's always going to be things that struggle, but there is a reason why we stick to it and we love it. And I love looking back on things as well, like I said about a journal, really, and then you can see how you've grown over time. And I love focusing on that part because that's what makes me happy, and I know that's what makes a lot of young dancers happy. And so it's nice to really focus on that.
Yeah, that's perfect, because sometimes we forgot why we started. Actually, we lose a little bit that sparkle we had, that joy, the joy that comes from apparently nothing, just the joy of dancing. And then when you grow up, many things comes in the way, and bad days, like you said, or injuries or whatever. And we tend to forget that joy that brought us to dance. So thank you so much. It would be such an inspiration, your story and your advices for all the young dancer, the Italian one, and I hope also the American one, and all the young dancer that are listening to us.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank
really.
you.
It was a pleasure for me.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.